Hi guys, welcome to yet another class for NMAT and SNAP. Shashank Gupta waiting for you. Join in quickly so that we can start with our session. And let's see who all are here with us. Quickly let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. We'll start with the work. So as you know that vocabulary plays an important role. Other than that, we also have to keep in mind that every time I practice for vocabulary, like questions like synonyms, antonyms, or one-word substitution, or anything of that sort, it should always help us to learn more words, right? And accordingly, when you know how to learn more words, it becomes easier to catch hold of words, catch hold of roots. Fine. Not necessarily you have to learn all the words. The words would play an important role. Why? Because you would know a bit about them, right? So every point of time, like surmount, okay. So surmount is like, I have got SUR out there. So when I have this thing in my mind that SUR stands for something, right? So you will always remember when you are doing some other word, and if there is a SUR out there, it might work for you and you can get to know about something. Like there is surmount, then there is surreal, right? So you know that SUR is working in some way and it is helping us to learn the word. Fine. So that's why these words are quite important to us. Fine. Okay, let's have a bit of greetings out here. Hi everyone. Let me know who all are present. Who all are here with us? Let me know. Yeah, we have got Yashashvi. Hi Yashashvi, good afternoon. Okay, I hope you can hear me, right? Okay. Yeah, pretty good. Fine. So, without taking much of time, we'll just move on with the question. Let's see what we have with us today. As I said, today what we are going to do is we are going to talk about one-word substitution. An important question, and more than that, why do I like this question is because it is something that you can easily get marks in, right? So that is why, moreover, when you do one word substitution, you get plenty of root words and other stuff which can help you to learn more words. That's why you should not stay away from them. They are your best friends, not bestest, but at least best friend, right? Okay, let's see. So we would be talking about one word substitution, right? And also what I did was I changed the pattern a bit. Instead of coming across with just one word substitution, I also came across with analogies. Fine. Okay. When we talk in terms of one word substitution, many a time I have seen people going across and they're talking about something to do with, people asking, okay, a person who collects stamp, and suddenly a person would say like, oh, a stamp collector. Dear friends, this is not going to work, right? Why? Because when we are going across into this kind of a paper or this kind of a question, what we would want is more specific words, right? More of jargon, right? So that jargon is more of, when I say jargon, it would be talking about something like, you would say term, okay, or terminology, right? So we need to work on those terminologies, right? Okay, so let's start. Analogies, what are analogies? They are basically relations. You like the word? Yeah, relations. So we would be talking about relations. Yeah, postman. Okay. Paris, why do you think that it should be a postman? Postman, does he does he collect stamps? Do you think so? No, he does not. The actual word, a person who collects stamps, he's called as philatelist. He's called as philatelist, right? So there are plenty of words that we have to learn, okay? Let's move on. Come across with the first thing. Yeah. One word substitution, one who breaks the law. Now, of course, if you look at the words, there are plenty of words out here, right? And we can learn plenty of words from it, okay? So, can you just tell me what exactly is philanthropist? Yep. Okay, I know you know the answer because the question is quite easy, right? So, I just started, so answer would be easy right now, but my process out here is learning more words out of it. So, let's see how do we go. Philanthropist. What we can do is we can learn it in this way. Phil, anthrop, and IST, right? So, Phil stands for what? Something like love, or it can also be a kind of obsession. Okay, it can work for both ways, right? Then what do we have? We have got anthrop. Anthrop talks about some kind of mankind, plus IST is the person. How do I know that? Scientist, right? Or something like that, right? A person who donates money to the poor, who does charity. Very good. So, why is he being called as philanthropist? Why? Because he is a person who loves mankind, right? He is a person who loves mankind. Loves in the sense extreme point of love, that is obsessed. He is so obsessed with mankind that he is actually, the first word is selfless. He does not care for himself, right? All he cares for is mankind. So a person who cares for mankind, what would he be? He would be generous, he would be charitable, right? He does charitable. He does charity, he gives out money and all that stuff, right? So this is how we understand that philanthropist is a selfless person who is charitable and all that stuff, right? Altruist, what is it? So altruist is basically nothing but philanthropist. They are synonymous. A person who is philanthropist is also an altruist, right? So now breaking this, now as I said, all words cannot be broken. So what we can do is we can, something to do with true, okay? Something to do with true. Someone who is always truthful, someone who is always doing which is true to his heart or something like that. So we can, that way we can work out, right? Same as philanthropist, right, Ishita? Okay, fine, let's move on. Culprit. Culprit, if you see, the root word out here is C-U-L-P. Culp. What is that? Can you give me more words from culp? No? Okay. Culp is basically something that is guilt, okay? Some kind of crime, some kind of sin. If someone has done some sin, he is guilty of that, right? So that's why culprit is something to do with. That's why we have the word culpability, right? Culpability, right? Yes, culpable, very good. So we also call it as culpable homicide, right? Okay. Then we have got atheist. What is atheist? A is without, The is God, and ist is the person. So automatically we understand what is it? A person who is without God, which means he does not believe in God or he does not know whether the God exists or not, something like that. So in that case, what would he be? My answer is who breaks the law. Nothing to do with philanthropist or altruist, it goes away. Nothing to do with God. So therefore the answer has to be culprit, right? Easy it was, right? Okay. Also, let's learn an expression, okay? Sometimes what happens, we do something wrong and then we say, what? My bad, right? My bad. Can this be used with this word? Some expression with culp where I can use it for my bad. No? No one? Okay. The word is mea culpa. Okay. The word is mea culpa. Okay. Why? Because this is basically a Latin thing that is coming across, and mea culpa means my bad. So, you can impress by saying like, more than impress, you would actually intrigue the person because he would not know what you are talking about, and you can like, mea culpa. So it sounds good, right? Okay, let's move on to the next one. Punishment without trial. Let's see, what can you do? Yeah, just like de facto, yeah. The word is punishment without a trial. Can anyone give me the answer? Okay, conviction. Someone else? Is there only one guy who's going to give me the answer? Okay, conviction. Sebastian says conviction. Rubel says conviction. Paris says conviction. Okay, let's see. What does it say? It says punishment without a trial. Without a trial. When do we convict? When is a person called as convict? When is he convicted? When the his crime is actually proved, right? He's proved guilty, then it is called that he is convicted, right? So it is something found guilty. So I can say the person has been found guilty. So can it be without a trial? No, of course not. Because if he has gone through a trial, then he would be convicted. He cannot be punished without a trial, right? So it does not work. Convicted goes away. Okay, fine. Go on. Next word. Okay, Vrinda says amnesty. Let's see what is amnesty. Just a sec. Yeah. What is it? So many a time what happens, see, the thing is amn. So it is something to do with ami and all that, which is friends in French. Okay, am, amour, fine, tiamu, right? So all these words, they generally talk about a positive sense. What is this? Amnesty is basically when someone asks for an amnesty. So what is he actually asking for? He's asking for an official pardon. He's asking for a pardon officially, right? So can this be my answer? Definitely it cannot be my answer. What is a verdict? What do you know about verdict? The court has given its final verdict. The court has given its final verdict. What would I say? What would it mean? Result, yeah, or I can say judgment. The final judgment given across is called as the verdict, right? Okay, so there is only one thing which is the option, that is lynching, because verdict is again something to do with trial. Once there is a trial, only then there is a judgment. So therefore, verdict is not the right answer. The right answer has to be lynching. Okay, so when we lynch someone, what happens? It has come across many a time in the newspaper, and you must have seen in your news channels, so and so place, and there was this guy who was found stealing something or something like that, and everyone came across and they start beating him and he dies, right? So he's getting executed, he's getting punished without a trial. Understood? Fine. So that is called as lynching. No, Paris, they can be guilty, they cannot be guilty, not necessarily like that. Maybe some people said like, okay, fine, you know what, he's the guilty one. And everyone out of like, you know, the fervent emotions, they go across and they just kill him. So even that is lynching, right? Mob lynching, yes, Bhav. Pretty good. So quickly tell me, have you understood everything till now? See, what you are seeing is when I'm doing these kind of questions, what I'm trying to do is, I'm not just trying to find the answer. What I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to find out all the words, what their meanings are, and so that my vocabulary increases, right? That is very important part. Fine. Okay, so let's move forward. A speech given at a funeral. Now look at these words, they are full of roots, full of roots. Catch hold, let's see what can you come across. Bhav says eulogy, Paris says eulogy, Sebastian says eulogy, and just trade, what does that mean? But no matter what, he also says C, that is eulogy. Okay, my question, why not soliloquy? What do you know about soliloquy? Okay, Yashasvi, Saurabh, everyone says C, that is a good thing. Your answer is right, but why not soliloquy? Look at this part. If I see soliloquy, I can actually break it. I have locky out here, right? Any point of time, we have talked before this, if there is a word like loca, loqua, locky, locu, they would all talk about what? Talk, okay? So locky is talk. What are we left with? Soli. Soli is almost like solitude. Yeah, solitude. Solitude, solo, they all mean what? They all mean singular. So what is happening? Soliloquy is what? Soliloquy is when a person is talking to himself, right? Because there is no one else out there, he's talking to himself, right? Have you heard of something like, you know, to be or not to be is the question. So this was a famous dialogue, and the person out here in question who is saying this word is actually doing soliloquy, right? Okay, fine. What is monologue? Can anyone tell me? So monologue is, again, I'll break mono and log. So log is also talk, speech, fine. Loqui, log, they also look around the same thing, right? So something linguistic evolution happened, and what happened was locky became log or log became locky, something like that, right? So that is how it went about. So what is it? Log is a speech. Who is speaking out here? A single person, right? Why? Because mono is single. So it's a speech by one person. Yeah. What is a dialogue? So as we can easily see it, di or dia stands for two. So speech between two people. Easy as that. So what are we left with? We are left with eulogy, right? Also remember, anything that has EU, EL, so it will always be talking about something which is very decent, something elegant, something graceful. Okay, so eulogy is basically a speech given at the funeral. So we are always talking nice things about him, right? He was a nice person and he died, and all the money I gave him never came to me, and I'll never get them again because he's dead. Oh, this cannot be eulogy. Why? Because this is not actually talking about good things about him, right? So you need to speak good things, right? He was a good father, he was a good, great something something, he was a scholar. So in that case, that would be called as a eulogy, right? Cool. Let's move on. Next one. A person who believes that everything is evil. And we don't have Lucifer out here. Okay. Nawab, do you think so it should be B? Think of it. Think of it. Nawab, look at it. What is the word given across? Opti. What is the word that you have learned with opti? You have actually learned optimum, right? When you say optimum, what does it mean? Is it negative or positive? Okay, Sebastian says pessimist. Vrinda says pessimist. Rubel says pessimist. Okay. Okay, fine. Who's a pessimist actually? Who can be a pessimist? So pessi means what? Something like pessi. I'm like, yeah, there's an expression. They say like, I'm pissed off, man. So what is pessi? Pessi is something which is negative. Someone who has a negative viewpoint about everything. But does that mean that the person thinks that everything is evil? He feels that no, this marriage is not going to work. Does he mean that bride is a witch and the guy is like some kind of, Satan or something like that? No, not necessarily. So he simply says that it is negative. Okay, so we cannot say pessimistic. Atheist, again, we did, who does not believe in God, does not mean that he believes in evil as well. So D part goes away, optimist goes away, pessimist goes away. The answer is nihilist. Fine. The answer is nihilist. Yes, very good, Ria. Srushti, right after this, you would have your CAT sessions. Okay, so tell me quickly, what would it be? Nihilist. What is that? Because when I say nihilist, it's a person who is actually, who does not believe in any God, who does not believe in any religion, he does not even believe in any kind of moral. Fine. He believes everything is wrong, everything is evil. Okay? That way. Yes. So, Rubel, when everything is meaningless, when everything is nothing, which means they are not godly, they are rather, they are evil. Okay? They are bad that way. Clear. Okay, fine. Let's go to the next one. So, the answer out here is nihilist. One who does good to others. I know the answer. I know the answer. I can tell you the answer. But I want your answers before me. Yeah, quickly. Okay, Paris, Rubel, Ria, Varun, yes. Sebastian, everyone is going great out here. So you see, this is Bene. Bene means what? Good. Male, which is mal, which means bad. Right. What is D? Detractor. Detractor. So what does he do? He belittles everyone. Okay. Detractor is a person who belittles everyone, which means he's always condescending. He does not have any optimistic thought for anyone, right? He's always like, oh, you're nothing. So he's basically detracting. Fine? Okay. Contractor, what does it do? Contractor is easy. What does it mean? he takes up contracts, as easy as that, right? So not always that everything has to be a big thing, but then again, carry on. Oh, did we mark the answer? Yes, the answer has to be benefactor. Let's move on to the next one. A kind, well-meaning person. Is it malevolent, belligerent, benevolent, omnipotent? Again, plenty of what do we know? Keywords out here. So we have got mal, then we have got belly, or I can say bell. We have got ben or bene, or we have got omnipotent. What's the answer? It's talking about kind, well-meaning person. So now, after doing these many questions, you know what happens is, it becomes easier for us to catch hold of certain things. Mal, we already knew it was negative, cannot be the answer, A part goes away. Belligerent, we'll talk about it. Benevolent has bene out there, which means it is a good thing, I can keep it. Omnipotent, omni means everywhere, potent is what? Strength, so almighty, right? So omnipotent is basically talking about almighty. Fine, does not have anything to do with kind and well-meaning, so this goes away. Belligerent, right? Okay, let's see. So the word is given across as belligerent, and I have the word bell out here. Something to do with ghanti? No, of course not. It does not have anything to do with ring. So what is it about? So let's do this again. Can I write down this word? B-E-L-L-I-O-U-S, and I can put R-E. What is the word? The word is rebellious, right? So let us suppose there is someone who is rebellious. So what would happen? A person who is rebellious, what would he do? He would be calm or he would be violent. He would go for a war or he would be silent. Arey, it's rhyming. Right, okay, never mind. So what would it be? Of course, the word is going to be, whenever bell comes alone, it's a ring, okay? But when bell comes across in a word, it becomes war. Fine. It can talk about anger. It can talk about temperament. Okay? So, who's a belligerent man? A person who is belligerent is always open to what? He's always open to war. He's always open to fight. Okay? He's ready to fight with people. He's ready to, he's very, he does not have any, calm bones in him, right? He's always ready to fight. So he can also be called as very short-tempered, something like that, right? So, of course, I need a kind and well-meaning person, so that's why the answer has to be C, not B. Okay? Just before we move forward, just a sec. Let's see, is it working or not for us? The word for you, the word is can you tell me what is the meaning of this word? Very good, Ria. So what do we have? We have got ante, okay, and we have got bell. How do I remember ante? So there are two words. One is AM, the other is PM, right? PM is post-meridian and A is ante-meridian, right? Post-meridian means after the meridian. So similarly, ante-meridian would mean what? Before the meridian, which means ante anywhere it comes across, it would always talk about before. Bell, we did what? It was war. So before the war or before the fight. Fine. Is basically, it can also be used with, like we use circum and all that. So circum is basically around the circumstance or the period. It can be the time, so it can be anything, right? Yes, the before the war, pre-war. Very good, guys. Awesome. Right. So we learned all the words out here. Let's move on. Something that causes death. Okay, so you give across the answer mortiferous, but they all have mort. See, they all are mort. Why not immortal? What does it mean immortal? What does it mean immortal? So Dhruv, Sebastian, Ria, Rubel, Paris, Yashashvi, Vrinda, you all have given the right answer. One who cannot die. Yes, fine. One who cannot die. Can't die. What is mortal? Of course, I am removing im from there. That is, mort is death, right? Im is without. So it would mean what? Without death, which means can't die. Mortal means what? Can die. What is mortuary? Mortuary is basically place, right? Which place? Place where dead bodies are kept, right? So if dead bodies are kept out there, we are not talking about it causes death. It does not cause death, right? So which means this cannot be. Mortiferous, which also comes across what? OUS. OUS is what? Full of or character. What is the character out here? The character is full of death, which means something which is deadly, right? Or something that can cause death. Easy? No, Paris, generally symmetry and mortiferous, they do have a bit of difference, right? Okay, they are a bit different. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to the next one. So what is the answer out here? The answer is mortiferous, okay? A place where dead bodies are kept. Now tell me. Okay, so you say C part. My question, why not crematorium, why not graveyard, why not cenotaph? So you see there are certain words which are very closely involved, right, associated. And we also have to find out what is better out of them, right? So that is again an important part we have to learn. So we have crematorium. What exactly is a crematorium? Why it can't be a place where dead bodies are kept? Because crematorium is place where they are cremated, right? They are where they are, the dead bodies are burnt out there. So crematorium is not the right answer because they are not kept out there. So A part goes away. Graveyard is where the body is buried, not kept. It is buried. So it is a burial ground basically, right? Tell me what is a cenotaph? Yeah. Anyone who can tell me what exactly is a cenotaph? No? So, cenotaph is a tomb, but that tomb is empty. While the body is buried somewhere else. Okay? Yep, tell me. Understood? Yeah, it's almost like a memorial place, right? They always feel like it should have been here, or They might have made it beforehand. Whenever the person would die, they would keep the body out there, but the person died somewhere else, was cremated somewhere else, what was buried somewhere else, and something like that, right? So that's how it is. Okay, so that is how it is. So what my answer should be? The answer has to be mortuary, where the bodies are kept. Easy, right? Okay, let's move on to the next word. Government by the rich. Okay, B, C, D, C. So we have got people coming across with different answer. Okay, okay. Fine. Theocracy has theo in it or the in it, which means religion or God, right? Atheist, theist, right? So, and cracy means rule. So, rule of religion, or I would say religious people. Or people with religious thought set or something like that, right? Oligarchy. What is oligarchy? So oligarchy is basically when like there's a rule by few people. Somehow I feel like everything is oligarchy, right? Because there is like few people are always ruling over more people. So that's why it is always called as oligarchy, right? Let's move on to the next one. Plutocracy. Okay, forget about that. If I know aristocracy, then I can actually find out the difference, because I don't know what is plutocracy. So what is aristocracy? Aristocrats. Who are aristocrats? Who exactly are called as aristocrats? They are basically the nobles. So rule by noble people, right? Noble men. So that is basically talking about nobility. Does it mean that nobility will always be rich? Not necessarily. They are just nobles. So nothing to do with rich thing goes away, oligarchy goes away, theocracy goes away. The answer has to be plutocracy. So plutocracy is basically, it is the rich people who have the power over the rest. Has everyone understood? Okay, many people have given the right answer, and many people have learnt that it cannot be the answer, right? Pretty good. Let's move on to the next one. Rule by a single person with absolute power. This one is easy. Tell me. Okay, is it D? Okay, or is it B? Right. So Samiksha, Paris, Sebastian, Ria. Okay, you people are correct. Let's see. Democracy is what? Again, the crazy part, Archie part, they all are basically talking about rule and governance, right? So we are left with demo. Demo means what? People. Okay, demography, right? Demagogues, something always related to people. So demo, rule of the people, right? Autocracy, what is that? Auto means what? What does auto mean? Auto means single, auto means self. So auto is one, where all the powers are in a single hand. So one rule, one power, one single power, right? Okay, something to do with that. Bureaucracy, bureau is office. Fine. Officer, the rule of the officers, the rule of the administration, the rule of the management, the rule of officials, something like that. Next, what do we have? Anarchy. Now, when I say anarchy, what happens? An stands for against, right? Anti, anti, and so they all talk about what? They talk about against. Against what? Against any rule. Fine? Which is against any rule or against any kind of government. So that would be called as anarchy, a state of anarchy. Fine? Yes, Paris, very good. So what would be the better answer out here? The right answer out here it is autocracy ruled by a single person with absolute power. Okay? So guys, once again, so we have come across with NMAT and SNAP for you guys. And what we have for you out here is live classes starting from August. We have got live classes 5 days a week, which is actually a good thing. You can practice a lot. 20 full mocks, 10 NMAT and 10 SNAP, which is going to help you. And mind you that there is like plenty of things which is relevant as per the pattern, as per the level, which is not going to waste your time, but it is going to help you a lot. 4,000 plus practice questions, and of course all these questions that are coming across 24/7 doubt solving, for which iQuanta is actually known for. Mentorship sessions by toppers. So there would be toppers who are sitting out there who are going to help you. They're going to motivate you. They're going to help you to understand how to push forward for it and how to achieve your dream. So to know more, what do you have to do? You have to visit the iQuanta website. Out there you would find details, go across to NMAT SNAP courses, and that is where you find how do we go about. Okay. Right, Samiksha, you have to go across and you have to get into this thingy, right? This website, and you search out there what is the price, what is the lucrative price we have for you to go across and check it out, right? Okay, so much so. Let's come across to the word, another pattern that is vividly seen in many of these papers. The word is analogy. As I said, what is it? It's about relations, right? But let's not get romantic about it. Nothing to do with that kind of a relation. This relation is just but word play, right? It is word association, fine, where we have to work. Okay. Oh, fine. People are actually giving answers already. Let's see. So what is the relation? So when you have this kind of a question, always do one thing. Try to find out what is the relation in the given pair. The given pair says doctor to prescription. What is the relation between doctor to prescription? Difference between B and C, verdict and decree. See, decree is almost like, it can be specific towards some kind of, a law passed by the king. So king would give a verdict when he's doing something, and when he's passing a law. So when he's talking about, finding the judgment. So judgment would be a verdict kind of thing, and decree would be more of a law that he's making, right? Okay, so doctor gives prescription, right? What does judge give? Judge does not come across with a law. What does he do? He actually comes across with a verdict. So the better answer is verdict. Have you understood? Yeah, doctors write prescriptions and judges are the ones who hang. Let's go across. What is the relation? Person, as in not the person, rather I would say profession and what does he do, or some action that he does. War to pacifist, what is the relation? Just one more question, just a sec. It came to my mind. Why didn't I take sentence? I could have taken sentence, no? See, judge is given across. Judge to sentence. What does a judge do? He gives sentences, right? Don't you think so? Why can't I take a sentence? And then again he says order. Yeah, judge is always like order, order, order. So we can also have order out here, right? Why can't we have that? Sentence is a punishment. Yes, Sebastian. The thing is that if I say sentence, it would mean that the judge is always giving sentences, right? He's always executing. Okay, hang him. Okay, inject him. Bring him to chair and all that stuff, right? Decapitate him, behead him and all that. Fine. But definitely we are not talking about that. Judge can also give a, he can give a, the outcome can be in favor of something, it can be positive. So that's why verdict is a better option. Why not order? So order is more of like, when do they say order? They actually give the order when there is like a kind of chaos in the room, right? When the courtroom, everyone is saying something or the other, then he takes that hammer and he says like order, order, right? So that's why it's a different thing altogether, goes away, right? Okay, now we are clear. Let's move on. War to pacifist. What is the relation between war and pacifist? So first of all, they are opposite. Yeah. War is all violent. Passive is something to do with peace. Moreover, war can be an action and pacifist is the person. Okay. Religion is the action. No, it is actually the noun. So which means war out here is also a noun. So this is a noun, this is a noun. I need something which is opposite to it, first thing. And secondly, it has to be a person. Understood the relation, right? Now think of it and tell me what can be my answer. So, oh my God, these words. I know this one. Okay, tell me what is polytheist. Tell me what is polytheist. Many religion? Yes. Good. So what is that? Poly is there, right? Poly means multiple, okay? Or I can say like many. Fine. What is the next thing? Thi means what? The god. And est is the person. A person who believes in many gods, right? A person who has many religion can be called as polytheist. What about the next word? The word is pagan. What is that? So paganism was basically for people who did not actually follow the mainstream religion, right? So people not following the mainstream religions or gods. Fine. So if you have heard of like Egypt, fine. So what happened in Egypt? Like they had their own culture, they had their own gods like Amun and all that stuff, right? The sun god and other things. So all those people who did not follow these gods, the gods of the Egyptians, they were the pagans, right? Similarly, it goes on and on. Maybe we have our own set of gods. Anyone who does not belong to that mainstream would be a pagan for us. Okay, fine. Next, tell me, what is the meaning of heretic? What is the meaning of heretic? Yeah, tell me. That's why the word heresy. So what happened in heretic is basically person who does not believe in religious doctrines. Fine, so there is some religion and it has its own doctrines. When you stop following them, or maybe you don't even know, like you don't even believe in them, so you would be a heretic for those things, right? They would call you as a heretic. Yeah, they would see you as an opposer to their religion. Okay. Atheist, what is it? So we already know, someone without the God, right? What is it? I need as per religion. As per religion, we cannot have polytheists because they believe in religion. Pagan, at the end of the day, they do believe in some kind of religion, cannot be the answer. Heretic does not believe in religious doctrines, okay? And atheist who does not believe in God. Which one do I take? Which one would I take? So this person out here, heretic, he does not believe in religious doctrines. Does not mean that he does not believe in religion at all. He does, it's just that he has a contrast to it. So which means that I cannot have heretic. The better option is A part, the person, right? Okay. Has everyone understood? Right? Let's move on. Let's have the next one. Yeah. Books to bibliophile, and we have got money to dash. So what is the relation between books and bibliophile? Someone who loves books, rather someone who is obsessed with books, right? So bibliophile is basically phile, right? Philia. So someone who is obsessed with books, wherever he finds books, he is going to try to get them, sit across with them. Okay, so I need something same as that, money. What would be the answer? A bibliophile would collect the books. Who would collect money? A philatelist? Do you remember philatelist? We did it in the, like, just during the start of the session. Who was a philatelist? Collects, what does he collect? He collects stamps. Okay. He collects stamps, yes. A miser is a person who does not let go of money. Does not let go of money, right? Numismatist, he's also collector. Collects what? He collects coins. And we have got capitalist. Now capitalist is a person who has money. Does he collect money? No, that is not. So capitalist is a person who believes in capitalism, right? So a very different thought process. So the very first thing that goes away is D part. Now we are left with 3. Tell me, what is the answer? Of course, it cannot be A as well. So it might be miser, or it is something like he's getting all that money in terms of coins. What is the right answer? So you, as you can see, like there are certain times when the word is there and we are getting confused, right? That is where we have to understand the trick. So we are not talking about bibliophile collects money, bibliophile collects books, right? Who collects money? Is it numismatist? Numismatist is not collecting money. He's not doing it for the sake of money. He's actually doing it for the sake of coins, various coins coming from different places, right? So that's why I cannot have C. The right answer is B. A person who collects money does not let it go, right? A stamp collector would never let go of his collection. Similarly, a miser would keep the money to him, this collection that he has collected by earning or whatever it is, and he's not letting go of it. So that's why he's also called as a collector. Is everyone clear? He's obsessed with money, right? Philia, obsession. Yep. Just let me know if everyone is clear. All these questions, all these options. Yes, sometimes it is a bouncer, right? And sometimes this kind of a sometime is going to happen again and again in your paper. So you need to be very clear about what is happening. When are they going to throw a googly at us? We have to be ready with that, right? Okay, death to mortician, crime to dash. What is the relation? It's an opposite. Are you sure about it? Mortician examines death and cause of death. Very good, Sebastian. Awesome. Mortician is a person who would examine and study death, right? So if someone is dead, everyone would be coming out there and everyone would be like, oh, alas, he's dead. And he's the guy, he's like, अरे वाह, क्या मरा है? So something like that. Okay, fine. चलो देखते हैं. What is it? Crime. Crime to what? Who would study crime? It is as easy as that. What would it be? The answer is D, criminologist, right? A criminologist would always study the crime, what has happened, how it has happened and things, right? Okay, culprit we you already know. Warden. Where do I find a warden? Would you find a warden in your college? Yeah? So one warden is found in jail and in the when you would be in your the dormitory, right, the hostel, who would be looking after that? So there would be a warden out there as well. Is there a relation? Is there an analogy between a jail and the hostel? Maybe, maybe not. So the answer is criminologist. Easy, was it? Let's go to the next one. Love is philogynist and hatred is dash. Okay. So what is the relation? So I could see love and then they give some kind of relation to love using that love, but they came across with the word gynist. So it must be an example of that. Hatred. So I need again the thing out of it. Let's see what happens. Why is it B? Ayushi, why do you want to go across with B? Siddhant also says B. Atulit says B. Why not A? It also has miss. Misogynist means hate. No. Ayushi, only miso means hate. So miss is also there out here. So look at it carefully. Okay, we did this word. We did it where? Where was this word? Now let's see, do you remember the roots or not? We did philanthropist. Do you remember? And out there we had this word anthrop, which means what? Mankind. So out here, if I say misanthrope, what does that mean? It means hatred towards mankind. So we are not racist out here. We are hating them equally, whether it is the men or the women. Understood? But out here, if you look at it, it is written as philogynist, which means gynist is actually talking about women. And I'm going to catch hold of hatred. Where do I go about? So it cannot be anthrop, because anthrop would talk about the whole thing. Out there, love for women. So what would be hatred for? Hatred. So I've got only one thing, misogynist, B part. Why? Because it is talking about the women. So love women, hate women. I don't know where it is going. Okay, fine. What do we have next? What is the next thing? That we have got cynic and by God. What is cynic? Cynic is someone who would always feel that everyone is selfish. Okay? Somebody comes across, gives a coffee to this person, and he's like, what do you want from me, bro? Okay? Next, by God, doesn't believe anyone. Somehow, cynic and by God, they seem to be what? They also seem to be synonym, right? Right? More is like, because when by God, another thing about them is like, they don't, they're against people who, you know, do not listen to them or do not believe in them, right? They are very rigid. They're very narrow-minded. They would like whatever is said to them, they would not agree to it. Okay, things of that sort. Very intolerant they are. Okay, that is the only difference between cynic and a by God. Okay, so this is how it is. So guys, as you see, we have learned umpteenth number of words today, umpteenth number of roots today, and it has helped us to grow with vocabulary. This vocabulary is going to help you in RC. It is going to help you in every different place wherever you find your VARC. So keep studying and move to it, right? I hope to find you in my class when we would be doing the practice for NMAT and SNAP. Until then, take care guys and have a great day. Tomorrow, okay, fine, stop. Just tell me, what topic do you want for tomorrow? Thank you, Rubal. Just let me know what kind of topic do you want tomorrow. English, sir, I love your lectures. Ayushi, the name is Shashank, I'm not English. And thank you for liking my session. Thanks a lot. Sentence completion. Okay, fine. We'll do sentence completion tomorrow, right? Done with it. Yes. Okay, taken care. Okay then, bye-bye guys.